In today's video, we're going to be doing an 85,000 mile update on my 2013 Audi Q5. Now, it's been a while since I posted any videos of the Q5, and the reason for that is that I share this vehicle with my wife, and in general, she likes driving it a lot more than our Toyota Tacoma. And so I don't get a lot of chances to make videos, but I've had a number of requests from people asking for an update on the vehicle, and I've been wanting to make a video anyway. So wanted to give you an update on how things have been going with the Audi. Now, we bought this vehicle just over 2 years ago, and since then we've put a little over 25,000 miles, putting us at a total of just over 85,000 miles. Now, I've had 17 cars in my life, and I've mentioned on other videos that of all the cars that I've had, this is actually my favorite that I've had. And that has continued to be my feeling the longer that we've had it. Over the course of the last 25,000 miles, I've continued to appreciate it further from the standpoint of the quality of the vehicle, the reliability, the styling. And so in this video, I want to talk about some of the things that we've encountered during our time owning the vehicle, and some of the pluses and minuses during that experience. Now, my first Audi was a 2003 Audi A4 that I owned for about 3 years, and then in 2011 I upgraded to the 2009 model. And as much as I loved my 2003 A4, I was blown away by the progression that Audi had made going into the 2009 model A4. And I think that that same progression that they made on the 2009 A4 really carried throughout the lineup. And being introduced in 2008 as a new vehicle, the Q5 really takes a lot of those same progressions in terms of styling, features, functionality, performance, and really is a great package overall. The thing that I think is most impressive about this vehicle is that the Q5 was first introduced in 2008, which is now 10 years ago, and yet it still seems like a new car in many ways. Just looking at the styling of the vehicle in general. Now, Audi did just introduce the new 2018 Q5, you know, so in some ways it's going to start looking a little bit more dated with the new vehicle on the market, but at the same time, compared to a lot of other vehicles from 2008 and years shortly thereafter, in many ways this was well ahead of its class in terms of just styling, not only on the exterior, but jumping into the interior of the vehicle. The style has really lasted well during this 10-year period. Now, Audi did do a minor refresh in 2013, and so this is a 2013 model which has some of those changes, but they're fairly minimal overall. On the front, you got a slightly different headlight and LED daytime running light design. The front grille is slightly different, and then going around to the back of the vehicle, there's a new LED tail light that's slightly different from the previous model. So pretty minor changes overall. There were some engine changes that came with the 2013 model year. This is the 3-liter supercharged engine, which wasn't previously available. It had a 3.2-liter V6 prior to that. This also has a sport package, which includes these larger 20-inch wheels, some trim along the bottom, and that sports steering wheel that we saw on the inside. I'll show you that real quick with the flat bottom on it. So it's a little sportier, and then it also comes with the Audi Drive Select, which allows you to change the mode. So it's got a number of different drive settings: comfort, dynamic, auto, and so it can kind of fluctuate between those. Changes the stiffness of the steering, the acceleration, and then also the suspension of the vehicle. So anyway, my point is that despite the fact that this is a 10-year car and having owned it for 2 years, in some ways, you know, you'd think it would start to feel dated and look dated. It's not the case. Every time I drive the vehicle, I'm just blown away with how nice the attention to detail is, the design on the interior, the exterior. You know, despite being an older vehicle in some ways, in my mind, has really held up very well. So on the styling front, I think that you know, that it's really succeeded in that sense. Now, in terms of reliability and repairs, like I said, we've had it for about 25,000 miles now. We have not had a single repair on the vehicle since we bought it, mechanically speaking. I've done oil changes, and that's it as far as mechanical systems. The only repair that I've done to the vehicle has been inside here. this little visor clip on both the driver and passenger sides broke. I've mentioned that on some of my past videos as well. I've actually got a video that shows you how to do that repair if you're interested. What's really blown my mind was the number of people, subscribers and viewers on the channel that have told me that they've had the same issue with their Audis. And so it's obviously a weak spot on the Audis, but it's pretty simple fix and very inexpensive as well. If you're curious to see how to fix it, search on my channel and I've got a video that can show you how to make that change. But otherwise, beyond that, mechanically speaking, the car's been flawless, which is great. That's the thing that was most worrisome for me in buying this vehicle and in any Audi that I've had. It's really kind of a part of my love-hate relationship with Audis, is that I think they're fantastic cars all around, but the reliability and repairs do scare me a little bit. Mostly because of the reputation though, not so much because of experience. I've had 5 or 6 Audis, I'd have to count it up, but probably 3 A4s, 3 or 4 A4s, the Q5, and then I've had some Volkswagens as well. And my experience has been that they're actually fairly reliable. The Audis don't have a lot of problems. I did have one A4 that was a little bit troublesome. But in general, they're really reliable. The issue is not so much the reliability, it's the cost of repair when something does go wrong. So they are very expensive to fix, and they're difficult to work on. So that is a downside, but like I said, I've had great experience with this vehicle so far. Another really interesting side note, not that it necessarily applies to this, but the most, or Consumer Reports highest ranked SUV for predicted reliability, I think it was last year, was the Audi Q5. So interesting, maybe shows a little bit that Audi's making some strides to rid itself of its past reputation in terms of reliability. Although on a number of other videos that I've posted of the Q5, there have been a lot of comments from people that have Audis and have had issues with theirs, so hard to say. The other thing that I wanted to mention too, this isn't necessarily a reliability or maintenance issue, but the engine oil light comes on fairly frequently, and this is a pretty common issue among Q5s and other Audis. My first Audi A4, the 2003 that I mentioned, had the same problem where intermittently the light would come on and say that the oil's low. There's no apparent leak on that vehicle, and there's no apparent leak on this vehicle, so it seems to be that the vehicle's burning oil. And so I have to add a quart every, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 miles, which seems a little excessive. But you know, at the same time, it seems to recur every so often. I put the oil in and there's nothing more of an issue beyond that. So I'd say that is one downside mechanically speaking, but beyond that, like I said, it's been pretty much flawless. I've had a lot of vehicles where as you get up in miles, you can just tell that it's a high mileage vehicle, that you know, the seat starts to feel worn, the paint gets a lot of scratches, the plastics in the vehicle get faded or stained by you know, sunscreen or lotion or whatever. And with the Q5, it just holds up so well. The vehicle, you know, right now it's a little dirty, unfortunately. I apologize for not washing it for the video, but it's amazing the condition of the paint on the vehicle, how well it's held up. You know, it's hard to tell on here. Some of these marks look like they're scratches, but they aren't. There's really no like permanent scratches on the sides or front or roof of the vehicle. The only spot that we've had some scratching is on the back here, just along the bumper, where there have been things that we've probably slid into the vehicle or slid out that have scratched it a little bit. But that's one thing that's been really great on the car, is just how well the paint is held up. It seems to be a really high quality product that Audi uses. And likewise, when you get in the interior of the vehicle, despite the fact that this car has 85,000 miles, it still looks like a new vehicle. Everything's held up really well, with the exception of those visor clips that have been replaced. But you know, the seats are in really good condition, the dashboard's in great condition, all of the buttons and gauges and everything just still has a really nice high quality look to it. And this is a well-used vehicle. You'll see the car seat in the back, so we've got a little one. You know, so there's stains and little crumbs and stuff all over. But beyond, you know, the fact that it's not a clean vehicle right at the moment, things have held up really well. And that's one thing that I think is really great about Audis, is that they use really high quality materials. Everything about it is top notch, and so for that reason it really holds up with the age. And that's one of the things that I think is unfortunate about people getting scared off by older, higher mileage Audis, is that, yeah, mechanically Audis don't have the best reputation. You're probably going to have some expensive repairs at some point during the time that you own the vehicle, but at the same time you're getting a vehicle that has top grade materials and quality, and it's a vehicle that's worth continuing investing in to maintain and keep on the road. So one area where the Audi Q5 really shines as an 85,000 mile vehicle is performance-wise and in the cabin. It's amazing being an older vehicle. There's not a single rattle. The wind noise is still at a very minimum, just like it was when it was newer. And then performance-wise, it still has a lot of the attributes of a new vehicle. Generally, with most cars, as they get older, up in those higher mileage points, steering starts to get loose. The shocks start to get kind of soft. The acceleration is diminished. Driving at higher speeds or up mountain passes becomes a lot more effort for the vehicle, and transmission shifts become a lot more abrupt, less smooth. And with the Audi, it's amazing how in all of those areas, it still drives like a new vehicle. The steering is still very stiff and responsive. You can feel that connection with the road. The suspension, which is original and has not been replaced, is still very stiff, and corners handles very nicely. And transmission, you almost can't even tell that it's shifting. It's so smooth and subtle. And so just all around, the vehicle performs really top notch. The acceleration is still phenomenal. This car will throw you back in your seat when you're accelerating. It does have the upgraded 3-liter supercharged V6, but has huge abilities when it comes to accelerating. And then those higher speeds, when I'm driving up in the mountains or passing a vehicle, completely effortless. And so it's one really great area again for the Q5, is that as it's aged, those miles haven't really taken any visible toll on the performance of the vehicle. Now, the thing that's probably been most disappointing or most disheartening about the Q5 at this point in my ownership is that, like I said, I've had 17 vehicles, which indicates to you that I go through vehicles quite a bit. The reason for that is I love experiencing different vehicles, and I also have found that typically turning over vehicles fairly quickly, I'm able to find pretty good deals when I buy the vehicle and sell it not too long after and not lose a lot on resale value. And unfortunately with the Q5, if I wanted to sell it today, I'd probably be looking at about a $5,000 or $6,000 loss from when I bought it just 2 years ago. In some ways that's not terrible. If you're looking at, say, if I had bought this brand new, within the first year I probably would have lost $10,000 in value. So, still buying it a few years after it was first produced saved me a lot of money. But at the same time, I still kind of bought it within that window where the hit for resale value is fairly significant. Typically, I prefer to buy something where it's losing about $1,500 in value a year. Being at that $5,000 or $6,000 mark, we're looking at more like $2,500 to $3,000 per year. It is one of the prices that you pay with pretty much any luxury vehicle. In general, German cars don't have great resale value because people are concerned with the repairs as the vehicles get older, because they are expensive. So that's my 85,000 mile update on the 2013 Audi Q5. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them in the section below. For more videos on the Q5, subscribe to my channel. I promise you won't have to wait as long next time. I've got a number of videos in the works. In the meantime, thanks for watching.